Are you a job seeker struggling to find your next opportunity? Have you sent tens or hundreds of resumes with zero or very few interviews? Have you had a few interviews and still no offers? Then this video is for you. In today's video, we'll be sharing the only 3 things that you need to do for a successful job search. Whether you're a new grad, a newcomer, or someone just looking for their next opportunity, these are always the only 3 things you need for a successful job search. If you're a returning subscriber, glad to have you back. If you're new, hello and welcome. I'm Luki and I make videos on what you didn't know you needed to know about jobs, careers, and life. The only 3 things that you need for a successful job search are to practice interview questions, to apply, and to network. The job search is simple. To get a job, you need an offer. To get an offer, you need to go through 1 or more interviews. To get an interview, you need to either apply or network. Simple, right? Now, simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Let's break it down for you. Let's say someone comes to me and says that they're getting interviews and no offers. That tells me that they need work on their interviewing skills. I'll ask, what stage interviews do you get to? And how many interviews have you had for each of those roles that you're progressing through? If they're dropping out of the early stages, then you really need help to hone in your interview basics. The first and early rounds tend to be focusing on narrowing down the pipeline of candidates. They tend to be relatively straightforward questions to see if you're worthwhile putting in front of the hiring manager or more senior leadership. Be sure to practice your response to "tell me about yourself" and other common questions like why they should hire you, what are your strengths and weaknesses, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years. Improve yourself to the point where you're at least an 8 out of 10. Make sure your delivery is on point and your answers are focused on the value and relevancy to the company and the role. If you need help from coaches or tools, make sure you put in the effort. It takes probably the most effort to land an interview, so you don't want to squander the opportunity. If you're getting to later stages, that's a good thing. You're really just competing against the top candidates for the role. Take time to polish your delivery. Smile as if you want to be there and want to learn about the role. Maintain good eye contact. Watch your filler words and look to naturally end your responses. Next, take a look at your content. Assess whether you're a long talker or a short talker. A typical response should be about 1 to 3 minutes. If you're on the longer side, you'll want to trim your answers or see if you can make it more clear and concise or compelling. If you're on the shorter side, then you want to see if you can elaborate more and make it more relevant to the role. Practice and look to have your responses transcribed. Go over the responses line by line and see if you needed that line or could make it more relevant to the role and replace it with something different. You could even ask ChatGPT to help you out. Keep in mind that the job search is competitive. It's not whether you're qualified for the job, it's whether you're the most qualified for the job. Now, let's say someone comes to me and tells me that they're not even getting any interviews. Well, there are really only 2 basic ways to land an interview: applying online or networking. I would ask, how much of each are you doing? And before I tell you some more tips on how to land more interviews, give this video a like, as it helps reach a wider audience who may be interested in this video. For applications, you'll want to focus on quality and then move to quantity. You can expect about 1 interview for every 20 applications submitted. In more challenging economic times, it might be 1 in 40. So if you haven't even submitted 20, then keep on going. Make sure that your resume has a clean and consistent format. Oftentimes, you've edited your resume so many times that you might not see the simple mistakes or inconsistencies. Get a friend or a coach who is particularly good at the details to take a review for just formatting, spelling, and grammar. Then you want to make sure your resume's content is reverse engineered for the job posting. This is where the quality of your resume is really determined. After you've reverse engineered your job posting, use tools like ResuMatch or JobScan to find hard skills or soft skills or other suggestions that could be included on your resume. Note that not all of their suggestions are accurate, especially if you end up including the ads or the company's DEI policies or other non-essential areas of the job that you just happen to include. And the 1 in 20 benchmark only applies if your resume is at least an 8 out of 10. If it's lower than that, you can expect to do more. And if you're landing interviews more frequently than 1 in 20, then consider yourself lucky. Now for networking, the other way to land interviews, you want to focus on building meaningful connections. As counterintuitive as it might seem, you want to network not to get a job. Instead, be curious, interested, and look to add value. Then you'll find that opportunities tend to come to you. When folks network, they often ask looking for a referral, and I suggest for folks to get a recommendation instead. A referral is administrative. right? Someone submitting their resume into the system. A recommendation is someone advocating for you to be hired because you'll be an asset to the team. A recommendation is often only available when you demonstrated value to the person that you're networking with and built that meaningful connection. Have you ever heard of the expression, the more you give, the more you receive? Most people have. Now, have you heard the expression, the more you receive, the more you receive? Neither have I. So it starts with giving, which also gets you closer to a recommendation versus a referral. Looking to add value to get that recommendation is where creativity comes in. There's a saying, people don't fail due to lack of resources, they fail due to lack of resourcefulness. So be resourceful on how you can add value. Yes, you're adding value by allowing them to share their advice and words of wisdom. You could also extend the value by leveraging your skills or experience to do something like create a web page for their community group, or do some market research for a project they mentioned. Or how about connecting them to someone who you know that could help them out? Or how about sharing a resource like an app, video, or podcast, or anything you feel they would appreciate based on the conversation you had with them? Or investing an hour or an afternoon of your time to brainstorm any areas where you could be of help. Be resourceful. And that's it. To land a job, really all you need to do is practice interviews, apply, and network by building meaningful connections. Those are the only 3 things you need to be successful in the job search. If this video was helpful, join the Focus Inspired Academy, which is your gym for career confidence. Go deeper into these concepts and get group coaching to help. Click the link in the description below for a free 1-month trial for supporting the channel. Remember to share this video with a friend. Let me know if you have any questions or what you're struggling with in your job search or career, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on jobs, careers, and life. And YouTube recommends that you check out these videos next.